What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to Fantasy Basketball This Week, your home for quick and easy to digest fantasy basketball advice. Today we're going to be talking about 5 sleepers that are ranked way too low on the ESPN rankings. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and let's get right into it. All right, once again, welcome back to Fantasy Basketball This Week. We're joined by Carl Baltimore. Let's get right into the action. Our first sleeper, our first guy that is ranked way too low by position is Chris Paul. Chris Paul is currently ranked in tier number 4, following behind Ben Simmons, DeJounte Murray, and Ja Morant. So if those 4 guys are available in your draft and you have to pick between one of them, I'm taking Chris Paul. Ben Simmons has an uncertain future when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers, whether they're going to trade him or not, whether he's going to play if they don't trade him. It's all up in the air. I wouldn't rely on Ben Simmons to be your point guard for the year. DeJounte Murray is set to have a really good year, but I don't think he has as much upside as Chris Paul does on the Suns. And as for Ja Morant, I really love Ja Morant, but after last season, he's a little bit injury prone with that ankle injury, I believe. And I just believe that Chris Paul is going to have a better year than Ja Morant will. Carl, you want to give out your sleeper?
So my sleepers that I have going into next season, number 1, I have D'Angelo Russell. More so because I feel like the opinion of him has kind of dropped, especially with him being hurt so often the last couple of years. And also he's on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, someone has to distribute the ball and score with the roster changes that have happened there, like bringing in like Pat Bev, who isn't the guy that you want to do that. So you're going to have to give D'Angelo Russell way more responsibility than he's already used to having. And him and Kat will finally have some games together. They both kind of miss each other. It was less than a handful of games that they played together last year. So I'm looking forward to him to have a big jump this year and play above his ranking this upcoming season. And then my second sleeper of the day is James Wiseman. James Wiseman is a player his inexperience showed really early last year. Showed flashes of greatness, flashes of athleticism, and his ability. He's on a great team, though, with a great coach. You get Klay Thompson back in that lineup too, so you have a lot more firepower than they had last year. Along with him finally having an NBA offseason to get his game together, instead of having to go straight from high school and only a couple games of college, and then right after the draft process, you had COVID, you had everything else going into that crazy time. I think now you're going to see the coaching over there in Golden State put him in some positions to have some real success. And I think that he's also someone that's going to play way above his rank. Yep,
because James Wiseman is currently in tier 9 in the center's position, ranked below Enes Kanter, Moses Brown, Nerlens Noel, Al Horford, Serge Ibaka, and Andre Drummond, which he's all most likely going to outperform this year. So if you have any of those guys in your draft available at the same time, we're taking James Wiseman. Sticking with the Warriors, for the shooting guards, a person ranked way too low is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is currently ranked in tier 8 of shooting guards according to ESPN, falling behind Evan Fournier, Dante DiVincenzo, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Norman Powell. So honestly, Klay's probably not going to start off the season right away, but once he is back into the season, he's going to be lights out from three, one of the sweetest strokes in the game. And even if he only plays 50 games throughout the year, he's going to outperform every one of those guys that I just listed. Also, it only really matters once you get towards the playoffs. If you can get into the playoffs and you have Klay Thompson on your team, he's going to be a huge difference maker for your fantasy basketball team. Moving on to the forward positions, I got Keldon Johnson ranked way too low. Keldon Johnson is currently in tier 7 of small forwards, falling behind Andrew Wiggins, RJ Barrett, and Harrison and Scotty Barnes, in which he's going to outperform all of them. 1, he's a starter on the San Antonio Spurs now. 2, he had a great offseason working alongside Greg Popovich, which he won a gold medal with Team USA this offseason. So I have big expectations for Keldon Johnson. I'm looking for him to do really big things this year. He's going to be responsible for a lot of handling of the ball, and he's long enough to be effective on defense, get you some steals and blocks. Carl, thanks for joining us today. on fantasy basketball this week, our lead District of Buckets guy over here. So if you haven't already, check out District of Buckets in the link below. They're the ones who sponsor the show. And like I said before, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Thanks for watching all the way through. Peace.